What is this? What is this nonsense? Could be real, could be all real. What is this? What is this? It's a COVID vaccination. Before we do that, let's look at this. Hi. So I'm just doing a video project and I wanted to learn about the Interplanetary Initiative.
What's up?
I'm just doing a video project. I wanted to know if I could learn about the Interplanetary Initiative.
Who's like the project for? But yeah, you can come in. Like, come on in.
Okay, for sure. Thank you. I got it.
No, yeah, next time, it's like the COVID exit door. So we try not to come through that one. There's a back door.
Oh, it's like biohazard or something?
Oh.
I get it. I won't do that again. I'm sorry.
What?
I won't do that again. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, you're fine. We do have to ask you to put on a mask though.
Oh, of course, yeah.
We don't have any here.
I'll do this.
All right, that's good enough for me.
Perfect.
We have one, actually, sorry.
Oh, here's one second.
Are you guys physics students?
No, we're from multiple engineering courses, like he's from mechanical.
Attention, this man will protect you from Globo Homo.
I don't know what that means.
Okay. But yeah, sorry, what's this for? Just before we...
Oh, sorry, I'm a student and I'm doing a film project.
Oh, okay, yeah, cool. But yeah, so the Interplanetary Initiative, so to give a little bit more background, the Interplanetary Initiative as a whole is like basically combining all sorts of disciplines to go to space. So for example, obviously you have the labs like engineering side, development. Then you have like the legal side, like, there's laws for maritime, like in the ocean, sorry.
I know about maritime law.
Yeah, but like there's maritime laws, but we don't have, there's like an agreement in space, but you don't have private companies operating in space yet. Or you kind of do with SpaceX, but now you're starting to see the advent of that. And so that's like an example, is how do you approach that? And so that's what the Interplanetary Initiative is like here to discuss, or, what are the advancements of art with going to space?
You know what's funny? I did the first protest in space. Yeah, have you heard of ASAN?
No, I have not, I'm sorry.
It's the Autonomous Space Agency Network. We're actually based in Arizona. And
Okay.
we launched a balloon. It wasn't really in space. We were well below the Kármán line, but it was a protest against Donald Trump at the time because it made a lot of sense, at least to my peers. But in any case, we put a balloon 100,000 feet. And
nice.
One thing that actually really tripped me out about all that is that the Earth didn't rotate under the balloon at all.
Because it was moving with it?
That's the story.
I'd accept it.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about like the upper atmosphere to like, I'm more mechanical, so like.
Yeah. You're a physics guy. You're like an engineer.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So that's like the background. So I'd have to look at it before I could say yes. But I totally will buy that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the Interplanetary Initiative. You have all of that. They have a major, and it's all about bringing all of the minds that would be in academia, in industry, students, to bring them here to one place to talk about kind of what's going on in space, and to cover all of the issues of it. And then the lab is an extension of that. So our kind of.
Can I see the lab?
Yes. Can you make sure you have it? Just
all
because
the
we get
It's all real.
but a little quickly, like the idea of the lab is a space maker space, kind of a build it, test it, fly it.
Space maker space.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool name.
Just aim it backward and forward.
Yeah, and then so that's kind of the deal. So we're still pretty new as a lab, so we're still kind of developing some stuff. But yeah, sure.
Cool. What year are you?
I'm actually a first year master's student, so I'm getting my master's in mechanical engineering.
How's it going?
He's doing a film project, and he wanted to hear about the II and the II lab, so I'm just gonna give him a quick tour.
Space maker space.
There you go. But yeah, so we have, so as you can see in there's a bunch of TVs with video cameras. That's so we can, as like things pick up, we can do meetings with people. A lot of I know a lot of the lab will have meetings with people not in the lab, so we use TVs, 3D printing for rapid prototyping,
Okay.
kind of the build it, test it, fly it type idea. Then we have a couple different types. We have like the filament based, and then we have one that's resin based, so like a laser on the underneath cures the polymer as it grows up on a bed. We have a ton of electronic stations. You can see two guys here working.
What's this right here? This these stacks of.
So these are power supplies.
Okay.
But those were donated, and as you can see, we have a ton of people in the lab right now, so we don't need all 50 working right now.
Right.
So we just kind of have them for now, but as people come in and need them, we'll hook them up and move them around. There's an office for kind of the lab staff.
This is where you can quarantine the ones that have COVID.
Yeah, we're a little danger close. And then this is, so that was kind of like a electronics development, kind of build your parts, build your stuff. And then in here is like kind of put things together a little bit more mechanically orientated, if you will, in testing. This is a fume hood for, you know, if we epoxies, polymers, stuff like
Or
that.
someone gets COVID.
I guess like that. And then this is a vacuum chamber. Basically brings things.
So you can test things like they're in space.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the idea.
This is important. This baby here.
Yeah. This.
I want to talk about this.
All right. Talk about it.
Okay. So dig this. If I put a soda can in here, put a vacuum in there, right? Sorry, and then you engage the vacuum container. The soda can's gonna explode or something, right?
Yeah, it's pressurized.
Right. So, all right. So, or if I have a propane tank and I have it outside of this thing, and I poke a hole, like let's say there's a propane tank, and I poke a hole in it, right?
Yeah.
Second law of thermodynamics, propane's gonna come out.
Yeah.
Gravity's not gonna hold the air inside the propane tank, right?
Yes.
Right. And now, even more so is the case. We put this inside the vacuum.
Yes.
Gravity
So-
ain't gonna hold air down.
No. So I think like the perfect example is like a balloon, right? You fill up a balloon.
I get it.
In Earth, and then you have the balloon, and right, the air pressure from the outside keeps the balloon at the right temperature.
Perfect. You get
But
it.
then you throw a balloon in here, and it'll either explode once it reaches the limit
It's gonna
of
read the
the physical balloon, or it'll just fill up. If it's a really good balloon, it'll just take up all the space.
You get it.
And then we're also gonna put in, so like some of the things we're doing.
This is the important question, though.
What's up?
Earth has an atmosphere. About
Yes.
around at this level, 1 atmosphere for the pressure, right? But we're in a vacuum of space.
Yes.
We're meant to believe that we have gas pressure adjacent to a vacuum. And what's the torr maximum on this one? Negative torr max on this?
10 to the minus 6.
I mean, space is supposed to be 10 to negative 17 torr.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, anything that is built on Earth will like. I mean, I'm totally in agreement with you.
Yeah.
But realistically, when you get down to 10 to the minus 8, 6, I think it's somewhere between 10 to the minus 8, 10 to the minus 6 is what this can do.
Yeah.
And so when you get down that low, pretty much anything you build on Earth, if it's gonna break in a vacuum, it'll break at that.
Yeah, well, what I'm suggesting is that the idea that we have atmosphere adjacent to a vacuum without a solid barrier between the two,
It's a confusing
that's
concept.
thermodynamically impossible.
Yeah. I'm not an atmosphere guy.
I mean, you're an engineering guy. I mean, you understand in principle that gas.
Yeah, no,
gas-
I get it.
So how does the sun work if it's a ball of gas in a vacuum?
Gravity, a lot of gravity. It's very dense gravitation.
Does gravity hold down gas in a vacuum?
You know, you're asking a lot of good questions. These are questions that I technically
They're
don't.
cosmological questions.
Yeah. I'm not. So that's not so much my background, so I can't really answer them greatly.
Any of these guys know anything about that?
One's a CS, a computer science guy, and another is mechanical engineer.
Mechanical engineering, he might have some insight.
He might. If you'd like to talk to him about it, you can ask him if you'd want to talk to him about it. But
You're in mechanical engineering too?
yeah,
In any of your engineering projects, do you ever have to account for the rotation of the Earth?
depends. Depends on what we're doing, what we're thinking about. You know, you build a structure, not so much. But you know, we're talking about. I'm doing my master's. I'm doing some like thermal analysis for satellites. So you talk about radiation coming in. You have to talk about the rotation of the Earth and your
Very
satellites.
interesting about the satellites. You have a smartphone on you?
I do.
I want to show you something. Type in satellites into Google, or maybe even satellite in space, and then check out. Go to Google Images.
Yes.
See how they're cartoons?
I do.
It's crazy. Yeah, satellites have been around since like the 70s.
Yeah.
And it's still no one's been able to produce a photo of them. This is how I started looking into this. I founded a SON. You can look up right now. Autonomous Space Agency Network is the first decentralized space agency ever created. We did the first protest in space with a balloon 100,000 feet.
Yeah.
And the thing that hit me, as well, because the thing that hit me, but not the other two, was that the Earth didn't rotate underneath the balloon at all. In fact, we launched it from like Prescott, and then it landed like south of Buckeye. There was no deviation to the east at all.
I'm not from Arizona, so Prescott, Buckeye.
We launched it a couple hours, like an hour north of here, and it landed an hour south of here. The Earth rotates west to east theoretically, right? Because the sun rises in the east, sets in the west.
Sure.
So the Earth is rotating west to east. And the idea is that because the air is moving with the Earth, that's why you're never going to have to register any. There's no way to demonstrate or measure the Earth's rotation. You're never going to do anything. There's no scientific experiment that evidences the Earth is moving, is what I'm trying to say, with an independent variable and a dependent variable. And so the Earth, for all intents and purposes, is stationary. And that kind of hit me. I'm like, all right, well, if the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour west to east, given a 24,901 mile circumference, but no matter what you do, you're not going to be able to register that rotation. And as far as all engineering projects that anyone can do, but that any of us are ever going to do, the Earth is factually stationary. Well, like, what's up with that? Why is that the case?
No, the Earth rotates.
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, people believe that, but I don't believe that anymore. You believe that?
Yeah. What's the purpose of this project?
This particular project?
Yeah, I'm kind of.
This is Science and Society.
I'm just sorry. You're asking some interesting questions. I'm not sure what the goal of this is. You wanted to learn about the II lab. I'm just.
Well, I mean, I was coming across this way, and I found this place, and I do a lot of planetary research, and this is in the domain of interest to me.
Yes. So I'm just trying to get a grip of what you're.
It's a YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, No, the Earth rotates though.
I get that.
Okay.
But why do you believe that?
Because we have night and day. We're spinning because we have an orbit. But if you have an orbit, and if you're not spinning, your days would be as long as the seasons.
Okay, so that's a compelling list of hypotheses. Is there any experiment that you know of that evidence that the Earth is rotating at 1,000 miles an hour?
I guess not. I don't know.
Fair. I mean, yeah, that's earnestness. And at the time when I believed these things, until about 3 years ago, I mean, it would have been hard for me to admit that I didn't know of any experiments. That's why I had to do a lot of research. I found out there weren't any experiments. And it's like, okay, well, that's kind of bizarre, And then I started disabusing myself of this particular belief that the Earth was rotating at 1,000 miles an hour, to note with no consequence to any of my, every experiment that I've ever done, like any project, any engineering project, it doesn't require that I assume the Earth is rotating. And in fact, if I don't even factor in the rotation of the Earth, the project is much simpler and ends up the same way, as if the Earth isn't rotating or orbiting the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. That's what we're supposed to believe. If I just assume the Earth isn't rotating the sun, that the Earth isn't orbiting the sun, and that it is just the sun that's moving, I end up with the same engineering outcomes, which is crazy. It's almost as if it's stationary.
Yeah, but it's not.
Why do you believe that?
Because there's a lot of great minds who have gone before me and proven data. It's kind of like calculus, right? You use proven laws of thermodynamics and stuff. Do I go through the derivations of them every time? No, I accept them to be laws because hundreds of people have done that. So, yeah, the Earth rotates.
The difference between the second law of thermodynamics, for example, and the theory that the Earth is rotating is that it's a law that I can demonstrate empirically by way of scientific experiment. It's not a hypothesis that if something is more dense than air, it's going to sink in the air. If something is less dense, it's going to float.
Yes.
That's not like the Earth rotates around the sun. That's just a theory, a model that I can test, and by way of experiment with an independent and dependent variable and a control, I can consistently confirm that that's what happens. But the premise that the Earth goes around the sun, there's nothing like that. You can't do that with the Earth going around the sun or rotating. In fact, every experiment you do is going to prove contrary-wise, which is the crazy thing. It's really crazy.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm kind of getting lost with what your goal is here. You kind of asked to see about the lab. I showed you.
I mean, what I said was factual, though.
Yeah. Okay. I'm kind of getting lost with what you're looking for here.
Well, I mean, I'm doing a film project.
Yeah, and that's great. I appreciate showing you around. I'm kind of lost with what the goal was.
So I didn't introduce you. I really saw the interplanetary thing. I thought, okay, I'll just.
Yeah. You dropped your hat.
Oh, thank you.
I'll let you out this way so you don't go out the COVID door.
I'll have to go out. I'm not allowed to go out the COVID door.
I mean, like, obviously you came in, so whatever, but we just prefer to avoid that door if we can, so.
Okay, cool.
All right, thanks for coming by, appreciate it.
Right, bye. Woo, that was bad.
I see sun in the water, they don't lead us, but they follow. No surprise, the ship goes down. I see sun in the future, they don't like us, but they use us. We ain't stupid, niggas slow. Yeah, I see a bunch of niggas mooching off what other people doing, and it really hurt my soul.